Well, while I'm at the light, let me do my all messages here. So, hope everyone's doing well. I just want to throw my 2 cents in on this whole situation with the alleged leak of military plans because somehow a reporter got put into a chat chain. It's not on, I think it was on Telegram. It was one of these encrypted apps. I don't like the idea that government officials, Hillary Clinton had her own server. These guys were obviously using some kind of chat interface. We need to do better as a country. Hey, Prepared Irishman, what's going on? Good morning. Because if this is what our leaders have to use because the other options are not secure or they suck, then we need to do better. Now, if they have a special version of Telegram or whatever that chat is, that app for government use, okay, that makes some sense. But yeah, I'm kind of surprised they're not all on FirstNet, because that's for first responders through AT&T. Hey, good morning, Stephen. Good morning, Regional Sky Girl. Long time no see. I'm assuming you've been as busy as I have. Lioness, what's going on? Signal, thank you. So if there's a special version of Signal that's for government use, then that's cool. But if they did this is a really bad screw up if it went the way this reporter said. Now, it's known the reporter doesn't like the administration, so there's that. But I heard something very interesting, is that somebody said they were inviting the important individuals, right? Good morning, Astatine. Good morning, Cold War. Found the real live. There you go. You know, they invited, you know, the VP. I don't know if Kash Patel was in there, and Myers and Hegseth and all these players and their staffers. And there's a belief that one of the staffers added the reporter. Now, the question is, one, was it on purpose? Because we've already found, like with the leaks, with the immigration leaks, when ICE is doing raids and nobody's in the building, like 400 people just vacated an apartment all at once. It's because someone leaked, because they don't like what's going on. This thing stinks like rotten fish to me. That's way too much of a mistake. Exactly. So I'm wondering, did the staffer do it by accident or on purpose? And then question two, regardless of whether the staffer is trying to sabotage Hegseth or it was stupid, why did that staffer have this reporter's phone number? Hey, KP, do you guys catch what I'm saying? Like, because I don't have a reporter's phone number on my phone, at least not that I know of. So if I was putting together a chat with, like, I don't know, KP and Regional and Cold War Prepper and Astatine, you know, chances of me suddenly putting like Bill O'Reilly is pretty much zero, right? Unless I'm already engaged with that person. So is there a staffer somewhere that was involved with that individual? Now, the use of a third-party app, encrypted or not, if it's not cleared by the government, I don't know enough about SIGINT to talk about that. Hey, Farmer, what's going on? Moldy Soldier, Sharebear, good morning or good afternoon. I don't know. We're kind of at that point where a lot of you are already in the afternoon. So it makes me, hey, Daryl, hey, Gerald. So it makes me wonder. So again, I have two questions. One, did a staffer, you know, they accuse Hegseth of doing this. He set up the original chat, but the staffers were adding people as they saw fit. Oh, that guy ran across the street and just tripped and ate shit in the parking lot. Oh, I wish I had the camera facing the other way. And he got right back up. That did not feel good at all. He tripped on the curb running through traffic, which he shouldn't have been doing. Oh man, I really need to get that dash cam. God, the stuff I see every day in every town I go through. Oh man, he tripped on the, and he was a big boy too. He tripped on the curb. He didn't get his foot up high enough, and he goes dunk, 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 and he went down. Boom! And his buddy was running with him, and the buddy's like, oh, you know, he's freaking out. But he got back up, so I guess he's okay. Just took a bit of a spill. Yeah, don't run through traffic. There's no need for that. Wait at the corner like a nice person. Is my pick flipped? Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to. Yeah, I look like I'm driving in England, don't I? I'm gonna have to flip it around. I don't know if I can do it now that I've started the live stream, but I'll do that next time. But so it begs a couple of questions. One, was it Hegseth or the VP who read it, a reporter? I don't think so. I suspect it was a staffer. And then two, why did that staffer do that? Was it an accident? Or did they do it on purpose? And then it begs the question, why the hell did that staffer have this particular reporter's phone number in their cell phone, knowing full well this guy does not like the administration? Hey, Tiger. Hey, John. And I think we have to ask these questions. Now, for the record, to be fair, there were leaks in Biden's administration too. And I do think that needs to be dealt with, right? Because, you know, leaks that embarrass a politician is one thing, but when you leak police actions, right? You leak ICE raids, you leak military intel, you leak, and whether it was under Biden or Trump, right? It doesn't matter. Someone's life is going to be at risk. If you leak that Biden was going to do something to the Syrians, right? Because Biden went and he sent people to go beat people up every now and then or attack the Houthis, and people leak the shit. So that needs to have consequences. Agreed, Gerald. Conjugal visit for media tips. Oh, who knows, Dan? That's an interesting. But so yeah, it makes you one conjugal visits. That's just now I got that stuck in my head. I'll always count on Dan, Daryl, or Yardbirds will throw something like that in the chat and throw me off. I'll be like, wait, what? Oh God. Now everything's gonna be conjugal visits and be like, what? Did you get conjugal visits for that contract? I'm gonna get sent to HR today. Good Lord. But in any case, you gotta ask, one, that's a big screw up if it did indeed happen the way they describe. So why are they using a third-party app? Is there no better tool? And if there's not a better tool, that needs to be addressed as a system problem. That is a government problem. Donald Trump can make a decision and say, you know what? I'm going to reach out to the Signal app people, and they're going to make a special one for us. Okay, fine. But then question two is, who added the reporter? And three, if it was a staffer, why did the staffer have that phone number in the first place? That means that person has been in touch with that reporter. I'm super curious to see. Hey, be good, Moldy. They are leaking, John. They're absolutely leaking national secrets, and I think it's dangerous, because when, you know, people are like, oh, I don't want. They're being mean to immigrants, right? So you start leaking raid info. At some point, a Trinidad guy or a bunch of psychotics anyway, they're going to ambush a bunch of cops, and they'll probably shoot up civilians in the process because they don't really care. And now what have we done? What have you accomplished here? You've put people's lives at risk because you don't like what's going on. This is too big a screw up. And it's too stupid. I really am curious, because I think on these apps you can see who added who. So if I'm having a chat with a bunch of you and I add, you know, John McMuffin into the chat, I would assume it shows, you know, the roaming prepper added John McMuffin to the chat. Because on Teams it does. If I put someone in a Teams group, it will automatically show, you know, Pete added this knucklehead into the group. You could go back. Booty calls for media tips. It could be booty calls for media tips. I don't know. It depends how good looking the staffer is. The reporter is ugly. I've seen that individual. So he may not have a very high bar. You know, he might take what he can get. Who knows? I'm just speculating here. But hey, Coffee, what's going on? But hey, Rip Curl, good to see you. So it makes you wonder, And I do think, regardless of how it happened, if it was an honest accident, then you reprimand the individual, but then they need to start asking, and this is a Kash Patel thing, he needs to send a couple of agents to that person's house and ask, why did you have that reporter's number in the first place? How did you get it? Who have you been in touch with? Because this is a serious problem. But if the person did it deliberately and they have some kind of agenda, they put military lives at risk. I mean, think about it. We go and send a bunch of airplanes and they know we're coming. They're going to sit there with SA-7s and freaking our Stinger missiles or whatever the hell else they get their hands on, waiting for our planes to come by. You have a driver, Miss Daisy. Hey, Joy. So you got to ask yourself, you really got to ask yourself, how did this happen and what was the goal behind it? Hey, Canadian. Hey, friend of the people. In report anti-Trumper, why would he add him to the... Exactly. So, friend of the people, thanks for joining us. So that was my question, is I don't think Hegseth would put the guy there, nor Vance, like none of the bigwigs. But according to reports, they did add staffers. So the question is, one, which staffer added this guy, right? Was it an accident or was it on purpose? And then question two, why did that staffer have that reporter's number in the first place? If I'm working for an administration, regardless of what party, and I know this reporter's hostile to my boss's boss, why would I be in touch with him? Unless I'm trying to sabotage someone. And that's the only thing I could think of, is that a staffer. And by the way, regarding the ICE raids that were in El Paso here in Texas, there were ICE raids in several places that people got tipped off. They have figured out there were 3 individuals, one at the FBI, one in immigration services, and then one some other agency. And they figured out which 3 were doing it. All of them are being questioned now, and not only will they likely be fired, one of them had 17 years in government. They're going to lose their job and their pension, which is absolutely stupid. 3 years and you're going to lose your pension now. And more than likely, they're going to go to jail. They're going to get prosecuted and they will go to a prison, and it's a federal charge. So I think a consequence needs to be had. Kickbacks from the spit. Dan's on fire this morning, y'all. Oh my God, I'm trying to keep on track, and he's just throwing these little bombs into the chat today. Oh, that's funny. But right, and then Tiger, you bring up a point. What if someone got hurt? What if an agent or civilian got killed? I mean, think about it. So the ICE agents show up, the bad guy's waiting, right? They have a fight, and now there's a bunch of immigrants who don't know where to go, right? Because they're scared. So now they're running all over the place and they get killed. Well, who's responsible for that? In my opinion, aside from the gangbanger, it's going to be the person who leaked the shit. So, like, there needs to be a consequence. I'm going to go through a dead zone here in a minute, guys. So you may lose me for a second or two. I do think the KP, that's a long drive, the causeway. And you always need to top off your gas tank and pee before you go on the causeway. Because if you've never driven that causeway in Louisiana, you're over water for a while. It's not a short bridge. And so, yeah, I can't count the number of vehicles that they ran out of gas. How far is the causeway, KP? It's like, what, 15, 20 miles, something like that? It's a crazy distance. The water's not deep. It's just across a lake, basically. But in any case, folks, so there needs to be some questions asked as to what the hell happened, who added this guy, and why did that individual have this guy's phone number in the first place on their phone? Like I said, I could want Bill O'Reilly in my chats all I want, but I don't have Bill O'Reilly's number, so I can't add him. The fact that you had the number in the first place means you've gotten involved in some dialogue with this person. Mackinac Bridge is 5 miles long. Yeah, and that takes a minute. Like, people don't realize. Buddy, where are you going? You're going to have an accident here. Yeah, Okay, the construction workers apparently are confused. They put cones everywhere, and it looks like Frogger in this intersection. Like there's a bunch of cars, and everyone was confused. They're like, I'm not sure which way I'm supposed to go. So anyway, folks, 20 miles. Oh, heck no. Yeah, I think it's 15 or 20. I can't remember. Skyway Bridge in Florida. Oh, yeah, that's a high bridge. I've seen the pictures of that thing. That would give you vertigo. Good Lord. But again, folks, it really begs the question. It is a screw up. Absolutely. Should there be, you know, a statement denouncing stupid? Yeah, sure, whatever. How did the reporter get in there? And more importantly, who added him? And why did that person have this guy's number? Especially if he's hostile to your administration. I could see, you know, if under Biden you had Don Lemon's number, right? He was very friendly. Under Trump you have Sean Hannity. Okay, that guy's very friendly. But why would you be working for Administration A and have a reporter that hates them and supports Administration B? That to me means there's something going on. I think there's, I think this was a setup to try and make people look bad. And honestly, if they find that the staffer added someone, they need to run them off. Even if they can't prove it was deliberate, they need to fire their ass. At a minimum, run them off. And take away the security clearance, the whole 9 yards, and be done. Because they just don't have any business working in the government. That kind of horse shit will get someone killed. Fortunately, the reporter was smart enough to not say anything until well after the mission was completed. Now it's just an embarrassment. So at least the reporter wasn't stupid. But you can't always guarantee that. What if they'd have added someone who truly is an, I don't know, Houthi sympathizer, right? They'd have been telling all this intel to the Houthis. They would have been waiting there with Iranian anti-aircraft missiles for our jets to come by. Wait, what was that? Illinois governor and his panel of medical experts prioritize medical technicians go to senior community, knowingly injected the booster. Well, if they forcibly did it and they knew that there were side effects and didn't properly inform them, they can try to hide behind the EUA, the Emergency Youth Authorization, but I believe the EUA is valid only under the auspices that all of the possible side effects, and I could be wrong, I'm not a medical, legal advisor, I'm just from what I've read, as long as the side effects have been noted honestly and clearly explained. If they hid, if the P company that made the meds or the government knowingly administered this and did not inform and did not openly tell them there was a choice, then I think they are no longer protected under that EUA. I'm not exactly sure how that's going to work. Were you here in 89? Hold on. Okay, I lost y'all's chat here. Hey, Ed Zachary. I had a feeling. No longer the deep state. Now proven to be the challenger deep state. Yeah, pretty much. So, secret agent men, cloak and daggers. Yeah. So, folks, I don't think that this was deliberate on the part of Hegseth or anyone else. I don't think any of the big players, Hegseth, the VP, Patel, whoever the hell was in the chat, the bigwigs, one of the staffers had to have added someone. Because once you get to about 10, 15 people, you start losing track of who's in the chat, much less go into 20. It makes you wonder. The quake of 89 in the Bay Area. Oh, I remember that. Yeah. That's when the whole, that causeway came down on all the other cars. So, yeah, I think this was a setup to make people look bad. I don't think they're happy with a lot of his picks. But I think we need to let it play out and see where it goes. But I think I was in Top Chat. I was missing tons of comments. But I think These are the kind of things, these leaking the ice raids, leaking military secrets. They're putting our soldiers, our cops, our airmen, our sailors at risk. And more importantly, these kind of leaks, eventually they're going to leak, oh, guess what? Company A has these assets here. Let's go attack them. There's going to be a point where this kind of leaking to the wrong players is going to put individuals like all of us at risk. So why do I bring this up? There's not much we all can do about what's going on in Washington other than be annoyed with the stupidity. But what we, yes, exactly. Holes in the boat. Absolutely. What we as a community, there's a lesson here for preppers, is when you do those text groups, the chats, and we've spoken about it on the Four Horsemen. I think a lot of creators have spoken about it. When you allow people into your circle, you also have to be aware of who their friends are, or maintain an understanding of that. My dad, was it my dad who told me this? My dad told me, tell me who you're with and I'll tell you who you are. But I used to tell my kids, because I learned it the hard way in the streets, it's never my friends that got me in trouble. It was my friends' friends, because they didn't give a shit about me, right? They were removed from me. So I invited my buddy Joe, and then Joe invited, you know, dipshit over there, and dipshit got us in trouble with the cops every freaking time. And I do believe that you have, hey, Caribbean House, I think we have the same risks as a preparedness, homesteading, you know, survival community. We need to be aware of who's in our circle, and more importantly, who that person hangs out with. That goes back to my dad's, tell me who you're with, I'll tell you who you are. You might love that one person. You might think they're great, and they hang out with a bunch of people who cheat, and they take drugs, or they fight, or they cause whatever mischief. And you got to remember, if something happens, that person has knowledge of what you have, and there's the possibility they may share it with these other players who are not good people. So, you know, there are a lot of folks, even professionally, that I deal with professionally, but their circle are a bunch of assholes, and I'm like, you know, outside of work, you're not part of my circle. And it's not personal. Hey, Coffee, thanks for jumping in, though. Hey, Rage, what's going on? We are Vest, and don't forget who is ultimately out. No, Joy, you're absolutely right. And, you know, it even says, you know, law and order and civility are necessary tenets of the faith, if you think about it. And when you have individuals who want to cause harm and chaos for the satisfaction of just causing harm and chaos, that's a bunch of a-holes, but they're cool. Well, but see, Tiger, there's a difference between being an a-hole who is faithful and reliable versus someone who is in your circle, you like them, but the people in their circle are not good players. They're danger, because they can bring that to you. Like I said, and that's just my experience. When I was a kid, every time we got in trouble, I mean, there were sometimes we just did it to ourselves, but every time I got in trouble because of someone else, it was never one of my friends, right? It was the kid they invited, came over, we didn't really know him, and he gave zero shits if we got in trouble, because he really didn't know us or care about us. And that's a lesson Mr. Hegseth and his team are learning right now. There's always an empty quarry. Dan, that reminds me of Fear of the Walking Dead, where they had that big quarry, or was it Walking Dead, where they had the quarry and it was full of the zombies. But in any case, folks, yeah, be careful who you invite into your house. Joy, actually, to that point, remember the old Dracula, like the 1930s Dracula with the black and white film? You had to invite him into your home, right? And he was an agent of Satan. He was an agent of the devil. They never told you, but it was implied throughout the movie. There was a lesson there. The devil won't come into your house unless you invite him in. And I didn't realize that lesson until I was an adult, and I'm watching this old black and white movie, and I'm like, son of a bitch. huh. And ding, 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 ding. I guess, you know, the things you realize as a grown adult that you didn't see as a kid. But anyway, folks, there's five in a new group I created. If I don't like someone, they ain't in and nothing said. No, fair enough. Just bloop. In any case, folks, look, you guys be safe out there. Be careful. I'm curious to see how this plays out. And I'm betting a couple of bucks that it was a staffer who was either a complete idiot or did it on purpose. For money or for booty call, as Dan said, or something. There was some motivator, or he's compromised. Maybe the reporter has dirt on the staffer and said, I'm going to tell your wife or your husband you were doing whatever if you don't feed me info. So I'm curious to see who added him to the group. Because they can figure that out. I bet it's going to tell a story. Now, reporters are protected under the First Amendment. But if a reporter is blackmailing someone to get top secret information, I don't think the First Amendment protections apply anymore. Because now it's not journalism, me coming and telling the reporter something of my free will. It's blackmail. That's illegal. So let's see where it goes, folks. Anyway, folks, God bless, Godspeed. You guys be safe out there. No Country for Old Men. Oh, I didn't. I forgot. I wound up watching all the Sicarios, one after the other. By the way, watch Sicario Dia del Soldado. I would recommend watching Sicario again, like both of them, if you can watch them one after the other. Because I watched it again and I'm looking at the geopolitics we have right now and I'm going, I don't like this. Kind of freaked me out. Anyway, folks, be good, be safe. God bless you all. You guys travel safe out there. And I'll see you, in theory, on Mike's channel tonight for, oh, hey, not a sponsor. What's going on? I hope to see you tonight on Hudson Valley's channel with the Four Horsemen. So unless somebody's out of office or we had some kind of issue. Anyway, you guys be good, be safe out there, be careful, have fun, enjoy your lunch hour if you're headed for lunch now. And I will see all of you later tonight. Take care.